Hey YouTube, Miss Beezy here. This is going to be the second installment of making the Miconazole Nitrate Hair Growth Aid Mixture. Oh, that was a lot. From the batch that I made a month ago and the one that I made earlier this week, I'm going to go ahead and go through the tweaks that I made, and let's get right into it. So, the very first batch that I made in the beginning of October was in this container right here, and this white remnants down here, that's from the batch I made earlier this week. I'll explain why that's in there in just a moment. But it's the Softies Coconut Oil Hair Dress. I picked it up for $1 at Dollar Tree up the street from where I live. Garlic powder was added to this mixture. It's just the off-brand. Garlic powder is garlic powder to me, to help with the shedding. I used Jamaican black castor oil to actually help thicken up my hair. I added Moroccan oil that I just picked up from my local beauty supply store to add softness. And wild growth hair oil just as an added hair aid, as well as a tube of Miconazole Nitrate 2%. Okay, and it looks like this tube is pretty standard because I got a different box from a different store, and it's the exact same tube that was originally used. I've never had to use monostat, so I mean I wouldn't know that. I thought that the tubes were all different, so good to know. Alright, so that was from the first batch, and all of that worked out great. Now what I'm going to do is keep all of these original ingredients, every single one of them. And all I'm going to do is add Sublime Sulfur, see if that helps out with the growth, and peppermint oil. Just a few drops of that. I think I added about 5 drops, maybe 6 or 7 in total. And as far as the sulfur, because it is such a concentrated element, I added about a half a sprinkle, literally, not that much at all. It wasn't even barely a half of a teaspoon. So, one thing with the sulfur, if anyone out there has used it as a hair growth aid, you know how it clumps up, and I thought that I wouldn't use it anymore after I mixed it with my shea butter because it would not mix with the shea butter. To this day, it still is clumped up at the bottom. I have no idea why. I just choose not to, but I thought maybe I would go ahead and get it down to its powder form and then mix it in. And it looked like it mixed in pretty well. Alright, here is the second batch that I made. I think I actually made this Wednesday night. But it looks really creamy. It's got like a white beige eggshell kind of tint to it, and it's kind of got the consistency of like a leave-in conditioner. And I think that's a combination of the oils as well as how I ended up mixing the batch this go round. The first batch that I made last month, all I did was I took a rat tail comb and I kind of moved the coconut oil around just to get it broken up, and I poured the Miconazole nitrate into the cavities and just mixed it as though I was mixing like water and flour. So with that, what happened was at the bottom I could still see just the straight coconut oil. So there was coconut oil that ended up not being mixed in with the Miconazole nitrate because of how I mixed it. So what I did this go round was I utilized the new container and the old container. What I did was I did the same thing I did the first time. I kind of moved the coconut oil around, put the Miconazole nitrate in there, and mixed it up as best as I could. I then took the second container and poured some of it in there in the first container and just kind of whipped it back and forth. That way it would get evenly distributed all through the coconut oil and the Miconazole nitrate. So basically I would have half of the mixture in here and half in here at the same time. I'd add argan oil to one, wild growth oil to the other one, and then I would mix them. But then I would just keep flipping the mixtures from container to container, that way that everything would get evenly distributed. Now when it came to the garlic powder, no issues with the garlic powder. When it came to the castor oil, no issues. It actually gave it a great smell. Added the peppermint just for that extra smell. And then when it came to the sulfur, that's where I hit a road bump. Sulfur, as many of you know, does not like to fully break down and mix in with other ingredients that I have found personally. I mixed it originally with a batch of 100% pure shea butter, and that stuff would not break down for anything. it stayed clumped up at the bottom. It would not mix, and I just said, okay, this stuff is just not my friend. So I did the sulfur again just to see, and I used, like I said, a half of a teaspoon, just as a little bit of an extra growth aid. And I actually tried my best to break down the clumps, because it would try to clump up, and as soon as I would see it, I would kind of knock the clump and mix it, see another clump, knock it and mix it. So it did end up kind of breaking down. I think that's where that tint of beige kind of came from, was the yellow from the sulfur. But otherwise, that's going to be my growth aid. And all I simply do is I just use my wide tooth comb, and I just go and I part, swipe, all until I feel that it's all over my scalp. And then I just go about my day with my hair. So that's going to be my second installment of my Miconazole Nitrate mixture. And we'll see if we can get another inch by New Year's. Have a good day.